Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call this November 18th Special City Commission meeting to order. I will start with an approval of the agenda as it was published. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Clark. Any comments or questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Public comments or questions on the motion on the floor to approve the agenda as it was published? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed unanimously. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise for the invocation from Resident Tim Martin. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance that will follow directly after the invocation. Resident Tim Martin, we appreciate you.
Lord, let us bow our heads. Lord, we ask that you bless this meeting. We ask that you bless all those who attended. We ask you to bless our great community. We ask you to bless the many volunteers that contribute positively to the sense of who we are as a community. On behalf of the Commission, thank you for the opportunity to serve our community in such a meaningful way. On behalf of the citizens, thank you for the many good deeds within our homes, streets, and neighborhoods as we show kindness to one another on a regular basis. We owe so much debt which we cannot pay, and we recognize the sacrifice of your Son on our behalf. May we strive every day to be worthy of such a blessing. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Commissioner Clark. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Resident Tim Martin. If you'll return to being Commissioner Tim Martin. That's going to take us right to public announcements. If you've got something you want to announce, you got thrilled about how the festival went this weekend, you got a lost dog garage sale coming up. We set aside short announcement period. If you had a longer comment, we have a longer public comment at the end. Any public announcements? Seeing none, it's going to move us to the consent agenda. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. A motion from Commissioner Mazon, second from Commissioner Barton. All those in favor, say aye. Thank you. Appreciate it. I got there. All right, that's going to move us to comprehensive plan amendment. Mr. Attorney, would you please read on first reading ordinance 2024-09 into the record?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the City of Newberry comprehensive plan to update specific elements in their entirety pursuant to section 163.3177 of the Florida statutes under the expedited amendment procedures established in sections 163.3184, subparagraphs 2 and 3 of the Florida statutes, and in conformance with sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 of the Florida statutes, providing for codification, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing the effective date, the appropriate motion at the appropriate time is to pass ordinance number 2024-09, CPA 23-14, upon its first reading by title only.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Stacy, you guys are going to tag team this, but you're going to start us off.
We are.
Take it away.
Before we go any further, as many of you know, and maybe not folks in the audience, but this is a 2-year process. We're 2 years in the making, and we are about ready. If that was the finish line, we are almost on it.
Very exciting.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Very exciting.
So the Planning and Zoning Board saw this on November 4th and unanimously recommended approval to move forward. And so we are here to get the same from the Commission today.
Yeah, sometimes. It does take it. I see a light. I see a light. The battery's working. Well, yeah. I mean, I generally at school, I take the back off, I rub the batteries around, get them started over again.
Backup pair here too.
Yeah.
I think it's back there. Yeah,
The clicker's on.
Yeah. Can you advance for us? There we go. There we go. Look at that. Technology works in the end.
awesome.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
New clicker. Put it on the, oh, there we go. So good evening. My name is Stacy Hectus. I'm the Community Development Director, and I'm very happy to be here this evening with Jerry to go forward and ask for. Oh boy. Forward. There we go. Asking Thank you. Asking for the commission to approve ordinance 2024-09 on first reading and authorize staff to transmit the petition to the state for review. So we have a little presentation for you to get you through where we've been. We appreciate all your time and effort. We had many one-on-ones with the commission, and those were very helpful, I think, fruitful. And we've had a workshop on it along with a meeting with the Planning and Zoning Board, and now we're here asking for approval.
Yeah, I think she doubled.
There you go.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so here's a little history, as I mentioned, a two-year process. So in May 1st, PZB, and May 10th, City Commission public announcements we had to kick off the rewrite of the comprehensive plan. We had many reviews of the documents moving forward, many updates, many looks from the side of the consultant and the staff side of things. June 27, 2023, we had our second open house. And October 1st, 2024, that was when we had right down here the Joint Planning and Zoning Board and City Commission workshop. Then we had we put that all together for a report for the PZB. And then November 4th, we had our Planning and Zoning Board hearing just earlier this month. We are here this evening on November 18th to ask again for the transmittal approval. And then we will make sure that this week that this item goes out to the state for their expedited review. And then while the state has 45 days, we will be working on our land development code rewrite. We'll go ahead and start that process. And we will respond based on when the state gets back to us. We will respond to any of their comments. And then we're hoping around February we'll be adopting and enacting the approval of the comprehensive plan. March would be our second reading. And this is a multi-step process that we've gone through. And we have a few divisions here of labor. One of them being that CHW, our consultant, prepared the first three articles: future land use, traffic circulation, and housing. Staff worked on the sanitary sewer conservation element, recreation and open space, intergovernmental coordination, and economic development items. And we've decided, because of some of the things coming forward with our wastewater treatment facility, we're going to take a long, hard look at the capital improvements in the sanitary sewer and send those up right after we get done here. And the two that we didn't have any changes to were the public schools facilities or the property rights elements.
All right. So as you know, let's see, I was here a week ago and a week before that, and I'm frequently here. My name is Jerry Diedenbach. I'm the Executive Vice President of CHW Professional Consultants, and we have been helping you for the last 2 years rewrite specific elements of your comprehensive plan. And for those in the audience who aren't familiar with the comprehensive planning process, as Stacy stated a few minutes ago, there are 11 different elements in the city's effective blueprint of the vision of what the city seeks to accomplish over the next 20 to 25 years. To aid you all, we have been working in a comparative analysis mode, so to speak, where we've compared other growing Florida communities and communities similar in size to the city of Newberry and brought forth in public meetings, in workshops, in meetings with the Planning and Zoning Board and the Commission, different elements for you to all review. Inside the future land use element, which really defines what happens on land, where it spatially happens within the geography of the city, and how intensely it happens, that future land use element also has some sub-elements in it. It has a vision element that talks about what the city wants to do in preserving its rural character, the urban services element where utilities shall be located, and then the rural and urban services sub-element. We worked on the transportation element, which effectively defines the type and locations and extent of existing and major thoroughfares like the two-way pairs that are coming through the downtown area here, and also establishes a framework in which we recommended that streets have sidewalks, neighborhoods have places for people to walk and safe routes to school and so forth. And in the housing element, the purpose of that element is to ensure that there is decent, safe, and sanitary housing and at an affordable cost and at a quantity so that the existing and future residents of the city of Newberry will find homes in which they can live and raise their families and stay in town. In summary, what we did to the future land use element was, number one, we removed regulations that are no longer supported by Florida statutes. As we've stated, your comprehensive plan and your land development regulation matriculated forward from the original Growth Management Act of 1985, and oftentimes things that were more zoning related crept forward into your comprehensive plan. We have cleaned and leaned that document to read like a comprehensive plan should. What happens, where it happens, and how intensely it happens, and how it's interconnected in the city. We've also taken those zoning items that have to deal with setbacks out of the comp plan because they belong in your LDRs, which is the next step for you to update. We've also sorted and ordered the goals in a hierarchical format from top down. What are the city's top priorities, and then how does the city implement that through objectives and policies? And in our rewrite, we hopefully cleaned up and made a lot of language clearer for the reader and for people who are seeking comprehensive plan consistency with existing or proposed developments in town or seeking changes to the amendments. So the future land use element, the proposed goal is really number one, to propose and promote the city's community character. Also to support a strong, diverse local economy. Not all the eggs are in one basket. Establishing and deploying land use categories from conservation all the way to industrial. Establishing unique planning districts like the historic downtown area. Reinforcing the purpose of an urban service area so that you have a manageable water, sewer, and utilities network. Encouraging reinvestment and redevelopment in the core downtown area. Also promoting and preserving the historic natural resources that exist within the community, and then ensuring that annexations will comply with state requirements. So those are really straightforward, and they all start with action words of what the city will do over the next 20 to 25 years. In the transportation element, similarly, we leaned and cleaned that document. We scrubbed out all the areas of Florida statutes that are no longer applicable here in 2024 or moving into the future. And we bolstered the objectives and policies to support the goal. And the city really has one primary goal here: provide a system that serves existing and future residents, patrons, employees, and visitors. And it breaks down into providing not only roads to drive on, but sidewalks to walk upon, or trails to enjoy and recreate and refresh yourself upon. So in that transportation element, the highlights are, we broadened the transportation to include all modes of travel. It had previously only talked about car or vehicle trips. We've also placed in here a policy to reduce dependence on major roads through a variety of measures, including cross-access in between neighborhoods, so you don't have to leave a neighborhood, get out on the state road to drive to another neighborhood or go to a recreation facility, that there will be interconnectivity and a grid that helps keep one road or two roads from being the most congested roads in town because it spreads traffic across the network. We also are establishing streetscape guidelines to enhance the downtown sense of place. As the two-way pairs go through here, it will create an opportunity for what we call a ladder connection of north-south roads that will connect the east and west legs of State Road 26 and create more opportunity to build and bolster the downtown. We did conduct a walkability audit where we actually went out and photographed the streets that have sidewalks and those that don't have sidewalks, and included that in our data and analysis for future sidewalk programming. We also have language in there that talks about coordinating with Alachua County so that roads that are currently inside the city of Newberry yet maintained by Alachua County may over time transfer into the city of Newberry as needed or as warranted as they're supporting development. And then lastly, we have language in there about leveraging that State Road 26 realignment and the potential redevelopment and infrastructure opportunities in the core here of the city. In the housing element, similarly, again, cleaning and leaning it, getting language out of there that is no longer relevant in Florida statutes and bolstering the objectives to support the city's goals. The goal of providing decent, safe, and sanitary housing in suitable environments at affordable costs to meet the city's present and future citizens, and including those residents with special needs. Right now, the city of Newberry really doesn't have a lot of apartments, nor townhomes or condominiums. It's primarily single-family residential or people living in manufactured or mobile homes on larger lots. As the city continues to grow through the 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, population, you need to have diversity of housing, and that's what this plan element addresses. So with that, in the housing element, number one, assuring that variety of housing types as the city moves forward. So there's not just one type of housing here. Reducing barriers to address affordable and workforce housing as new neighborhoods are created and people may want to scale up to a newer house or scale down to a empty nester or what I call lock and go lifestyle. They don't want to take care of the yard anymore, but they still want to live in the city of Newberry. Their housing stock can turn into more affordable housing because it's perhaps older, maybe a little bit more seasoned and more affordable than a brand new house coming in at a couple $100 a square foot. We also in here have a policy that talks about partnering with organizations that will preserve and increase the availability of affordable and workforce housing. And that specifically is the state of Florida. There are options out there and there are programs through the federal government that can help through that. We want to support naturally occurring affordable housing, that generational transfer of housing, as well as creating a housing plan to identify needs and prepare strategies. That's something that will continue ongoing over time with the city. So that takes us to recreation and open space.
Thank you.
Font grew bigger and we collapsed into the
Yes, we did.
the bench and the streetlight.
We took the mayor's advice. We made it much larger this time. So in the recreation and open space element, we removed the outdated level of services that were, the guidelines that were in there from 30 years ago. We added some goals, objectives, and policies in compliance with statutes and Alachua County. Some of those goals you can see here is establish and maintain integrated system of recreation facilities and open space for citizens and visitors, Rails to Trails program, art and historic resource preservation, environmental impact, establish and maintain an environmentally sustainable development pattern by reducing carbon footprint and preserving natural vegetation. We also took a look at our conservation element and we updated those goals, objectives, and policies as well, along with any outdated language. That one of those goals is to conserve natural resources in the city through appropriate use and protections and to maintain the integrity of natural system functions and habitats. Additionally, we looked at our economic development element and basically the key word there is balance. We have a few goals listed up there for you to read: enhance balanced economic development and foster a diverse and sustainable economy that can contribute to the growth of Newberry, implement policies and incentives to support development of highly trained local workforce that can better compete for meaningful and productive employment, earn a living wage, and meet needs of businesses right here in Newberry. And another one of the goals was to recognize Newberry's cultural resources, including institutions, agriculture, art, organizations, traditions, historic resources, and creative people as important contributors to our city's economic vitality. Intergovernmental coordination, we went ahead and any of the conflicting policies were removed from our state statutes. Some of those goals here are to establish processes among the various governmental entities to achieve coordination of comprehensive planning, ensure compatible development, provide adequate public services, and promote the efficient use of available resources among governmental entities. So as you can see, we've gone through those elements that are going to be transmitted to the state, and here is our last question and hope for approval regarding ordinance 2024-9 on the first reading to transmit the petition to the state for review. Any questions?
All right, thank you so much for that.
I didn't put that
Perfect.
in there. You stuck that in there somehow.
I know that most folks are here tonight to listen to the conversation about the next agenda item. I'm really glad that people are here to listen to this agenda item because the comp plan in Newberry is Newberry's visionary document. And we have been working on this for 2 years, community workshops, working with residents, doing surveys to develop this. You guys are probably getting a little tired at this point of hearing about it because we have had so many meetings. But we are at the finish line. You guys have done a great job. Thank you, Stacy, for coming in and picking it right up. Thank you, Jerry, for everything that you guys have done. Questions about the comp plan at this point? Thoughts?
I just got to say,
Commissioner Clark.
I would like to just say thank you for the vision that you had with us to sit down and your time. I know it took a lot of time, one-on-one time, but I'll just say thank you because that's where we're at now. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any, Commissioner Martin?
Yes, I certainly appreciate all the effort that's gone into it. You know, periodically we get accused of not planning, and then we don't plan a thing around, and I feel like it's all we do half the time, or even 70 or 80% of the time. But in reality, hardly any of it's on the retail level. It's, you know, if it's not paving a street or putting in a sidewalk, you know, we're not doing anything in the public's opinion. So I appreciate being able to do this. Hopefully people will actually see this as kind of the nuts and bolts of what actually, you know, we do up here and what we do with the staff. My only comment, I wrote a couple of things down. Living wage starts feeling like a buzzword for me. Rails to trails, kind of the same thing. I didn't see it necessarily in the roll-up, but I remember in the backup, an element of sustainability as it comes with climate change. I'm not a big fan of that. And I also didn't want it to become a feeling of overcommitting ourselves to pursuing different things that government's really not supposed to be involved in on an elementary level. So that's my comments, but well done, great job, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Other comments from the dais? This is first reading, so everybody can listen to comments and questions tonight, take it, bring it back on second reading. Any other? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Maison, second from Commissioner Clark. Comments, questions from the dais on the motion on the floor? Public comments or questions on the motion on the floor? Come on down, sir. As you come down, I want to thank you for being such a committed member of the resident. You've come to at least most of these, if not all of them.
I appreciate that,
and
Mr.
offered
Mayor.
your thoughts, so thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Mr. Mayor. I
doing that.
appreciate that, Commissioners. Good evening. Just a fundamental question, and I might have just missed it in the entire process, but I did go to the workshops and the joint meeting that you had here with P&Z. But is there actually a document? I haven't seen a document.
Hang on one second, yeah.
No, I mean, maybe it's out there on the internet, and I just didn't see it. If there was a link to it, it would have been nice to have had a chance to review that in advance of this meeting, to make more appropriate comments, just to see what of the public comment were actually maybe incorporated into it or not. So just fundamental question about that. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
And if you could leave your,
Paul Hornby.
I'm sorry, you've introduced yourself so often I forget. If you'll leave your card, we'll email that. I think it might be hundreds of pages. But we'll make sure it gets out and hopefully in a digestible way. Other public comments on the motion on the floor about the comp plan? Okay, seeing none, back to the dais. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. I do want to say, as we move into the next agenda item, just a reminder that here in Newberry, we really try to become the role models for our kids. We try to do it right. We can agree, we can disagree, we can agree to disagree, but we always try to do that respectfully. We always try to do that politely. So I know that this agenda item has some strong feelings on it, and we are more than happy to listen to everyone's thoughts, but we want to try to do that in a way that your kids could watch it and be proud of the way that you handled that conversation. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. New, our city manager. Are you going to introduce the chair, or do you want me to bring the chair up and jump it right in? I have it on mine that you're introducing it, but that may be wrong.
Mr. Mayor, typically we would do that, but I think
All right.
it's simply an introduction, so. if you
Okay,
go
well, let's
ahead
bring the chair of the Newberry Community School Board up, Mr. Derek Dane. And we appreciate you being here to give us this update and to have this conversation. And I guess the only thing that I would ask, everybody listen to the conversation, because I've already seen some chatter on social media of people jumping to conclusions before we've heard the presentation, and that generally never goes right, never goes well. So I appreciate you being here to explain what's going on, what the proposal is, what you're actually asking for, and then we can ask all those follow-up questions. So with that, Mr. Dane.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners, for having me. My name is Derek Daney. I am here as Chairman of the Board for the Newberry Community School to provide the City and Commissioners with an update as it relates to the Newberry Community School and its activities. Our team of experts are putting the finishing touches on our application, which is due to the Florida Charter Review Commission on November 26th. We've been meeting with teachers throughout the application process and received valuable feedback that has been very helpful in drafting sections of the application, including but not limited to curriculum and discipline. This was important to us because we wanted input from those serving within our school community. Some key points from our application that our board is excited to share with you relates to our teacher benefits. We do plan and we will be able to increase the average salary per teacher. This was offered as a campaign promise, and we have worked hard to ensure that we are taking better care of our teachers. Teachers will also remain in the state FRS system, and through our partnership with the city, we hope and we plan to be able to provide a richer and more flexible health care benefits to all teachers and full-time staff. We will be able to transfer leave benefits, accrued sick leave. Also, as far as curriculum, we intend to implement a STEAM curriculum. For those of you not familiar, STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We listened to our teachers, and they wanted to provide a more robust curriculum with less focus on standardized tests and on real-world applications. We also are offering improved student services, and we've planned to we have a fully funded transportation and food service plan. This will provide transportation to all students who attend the school. We also plan to have an ESC pre-K, and that will stay with the school, and we will provide ESC services, especially those as required by state and federal law. We're excited about these key points in our application. We're excited to present this to the folks in Tallahassee. We're excited about getting their review and approval. So on behalf of the Newberry Community School Board, I'm requesting the city be a funding backstop with a commitment of $2,201,000 from the city of Newberry to support the establishment of the Newberry Community School once the application is approved in February. Absolutely.
Thank you.
This figure includes what the Newberry Community School Board already owes the city for partnering with us and helping with the application process. It includes every worst-case scenario, both on revenue and expenditures, and even planning for the worst case, we were able to put forth a balanced budget that keeps maximum dollars in our classrooms for the children. It's also important to note, I do want to stress this, that this amount that we're requesting is contingent on the application being approved. Additionally, I also want to stress that it is our hope and our goal that we will not have to utilize all these funds, that we will intend to exhaust all other sources of public and private dollars that are available to us in the creation of the school. And finally, we expect that we will have an answer from the Florida Charter Review Commission in February. If approved, the anticipated opening date for the school would be August of 2026. I believe you've been provided a packet with a breakdown of the formal request, including what that figure entails and our plan for repayment. We as a board are asking you to make this commitment to building a strong, sustainable educational institution for our community. With this funding commitment, the City of Newberry will be a key partner in supporting our shared vision of high-quality, accessible education for all children in our community. I hope that the work this board has done in keeping every campaign promise from better teacher pay to being more responsive to our teachers is visible to everyone who is paying attention to this effort. And with that, we would ask for a motion in support of our children, in support of our teachers, and in support of our community who voted in favor of this work. And thank you for your time. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Does the board mind if I ask some clarifying questions before we go, or do you want to ask your questions first? Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding this right, because I know that there was an open question. There's a lot of people that said that if the elementary school is the only one that passed, the operating budget wouldn't hit. What you're telling me is that you and your team working, which is the Newberry team, have actually managed to balance the budget, increase teacher pay, keep the better, richer health care, be more responsive, pretty much everything you said during the campaign with just the elementary school. And my understanding is that there are significant revenue streams that you guys can't account for right now because you don't have the charter yet, but you will account for later on. So I heard you say it, but I want to make sure I'm understanding. This is a worst case scenario, this 2.1, which the 2 point, what was the figure?
$2,201,000.
Okay, so that figure accounts for what we've already spent to do the application. If this board ever has to borrow money, it accounts for the interest that we would pay. You pay back, the Newberry Community School Board pays that back with interest, so there is a pass-through cost. We get every penny back. I just think that is with just the elementary school to be able to hit that marker and pay the teachers better, which is one of the things we said we could do. I want to say that that's amazing, but when I think about the team that we have, Mike and Caroline and Braxton and Sean and Dallas. It's what Newberry has continued to do over and over and over again. We hit the mark, we set the goal. So it is amazing because I knew that it was going to be tight. But to hear you stand and say that now we're here and all of those campaign promises have been met, it truly is amazing. And I just want to thank you and the Newberry School Board and our team for all of this hard work to get us to this moment so that we can make sure that more tax dollars are into our kids' classrooms, into our teachers' pockets. And with that, I'll turn it over to questions from the board. Commissioner Clark.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I know that there's a lot of revenue streams here, and as we went through this, there's a lot of grants out there. And there's one of the big grants, and the question is just if the grants come in, as we think they will, those will come back to the city coffer prior to being regenerated into a school. Is that correct?
Yes, Commissioner Clark. The goal, of course, is not to utilize these funds as that's the only way that we're going to get the school taken care of. Those funds will be utilized, and then assuming those grants come through,
Yes,
we would be able to pay those funds back quicker than the schedule that's
And
been
then you'll
presented.
be on your
Yep.
own and
Yes, sir.
roll.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
And Mr. Danny, I want to say thank you again because I know that the teachers met with you guys and asked for the 26 start date. And you guys agreed to push off. And there came a lot of benefits. And the grant possibility is one of that saying that you're going to start in 2026 allows us to go after all of those grants so that it's entirely plausible. But again, good governance means we plan for the worst, we hope for the best. So we've planned for the worst. The worst is the city's the financial backstop. The best is we get grants that cover all these costs and the city never has to borrow a dime. And we'll see how it plays out as we move forward. But in essence, what's being asked tonight, I see was the commission already agreed to back during the campaign when they said, if the community votes to do this, will you support the community? The only difference is tonight, now we know what that support looks like. So I think that out of that dollar figure, there's a 1.5, which is the actual startup cost. And again, I would remind everybody that according to state law, the school board of Alachua County has to be the one to prove, the burden of proof is on them, that a desk needs to go from Newberry Elementary School to another school before they can remove it. So that 1.5 envisions their ability to prove all of that. And I don't think that nothing can leave the school and just go sit in storage. I don't think they'll be able to prove that there's a school that needs all of that. So it means, in my mind, the bulk of the material is going to stay. So, but we won't know what that dollar is, again, until the negotiations happen, until we sit down across the table. So, worst case scenario is what's being presented tonight, but as these guys continue to prove in the face of intense criticism that when we put our minds to it, we can accomplish all of these things for our kids and for our kids' future. And again, I'm astounded. So, Commissioner Martin?
Yeah, to your point, Mr. Mayor, I'm happy that we're gotten to this point. I think it's fantastic. I've always been supportive of the charter initiative. I've always felt like we could do as a community better for our kids than the school board has done, and I'll withhold my criticism of the current county school board at the moment. But I'll also reiterate the citizens of Newberry have been paying for these schools all along as taxpayers. We paid for all those seats. We paid for those smart boards. We paid for everything, just like we paid for everything at Terwilliger and Meadowbrook, and vice versa. We've all kind of scratched each other's back. So it's my strong hope that nothing should be taken out of there because we paid for it. And in research that I've done on different things, it's pro rata. We're entitled to exactly what we paid for, and vice versa. So I don't think that the school board will be able to prove that we didn't pay for it and that they should be able to take it and go with it somewhere else. I appreciate that this is still being maintained as the backstop and not the primary. I appreciate, to Commissioner Clark's point, that we are in basically first position for repayment. Just like a mortgagee would be on a home or something like that. I'm very much in support of this. I think we are upholding our end of the bargain and what we said to the community, and if it passed, we're doing what we say we're doing, and I think that's become a character of not only this commission, but this community as well. And I'm happy to stand here and be able to fulfill some of those promises.
Other, Commissioner Maison?
I support this charter school conversion because of the possibilities it will bring and open for our kids in our community. Some may see this as a financial risk, and yes, it may be. But with great risk comes a great reward, and this can be great for our children. I can appreciate your frustration and your fear, but I truly believe and I trust our financial analysts and our staff, and I ask that you do as well. They have been meticulous and thorough. If you trust nothing else, at least trust that I want nothing but the best for Newberry children. That includes my child as well. Newberry has an opportunity to create something unique and groundbreaking, and I hope that you all can see the vision. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Other commissioner comments or questions? I just have to add, the teacher in me, the district is fighting with the union over a 1.6 pay raise. I'm going to fall, I don't know how much further back behind inflation this year. Every year I stay as a teacher, I get a little bit poorer. And we've always kind of been in the position of just having to listen to people say to us, it just is what it is. It can't get any better. We're doing the best we can. And we've never been in a position to actually judge the numbers and know. And so we've always just had to kind of accept it. And I don't know that there's a person in the city of Newberry that doesn't believe that teachers should be making a living wage, that doesn't believe that more of your tax dollars should be going into teachers' pockets and your students' pockets and given resources. I can't tell you how many days the copy machine has been broken at the elementary school. I can't tell you how many times it's been broken at the high school. Just these fundamental daily business things. Just as a for instance, I don't think you guys can claim Title I funding yet because you don't have a charter. Title I, Newberry Elementary School is a Title I school. It will be a Title I school.
How much money is that?
That's about $600,000 a year of revenue that's coming in. So you guys have managed to balance a budget, giving teachers higher pay, providing better health care, and there will be other revenue streams that are coming in that you can't, because again, you have to show worst case scenario. So I think the questions at this point will now turn to the other side and say, well, if Newberry can do it, really and truly, why? How can you stand and look at all of these teachers' faces? Many of them are here tonight, and tell them that you can't give them more than a 1.6. I don't know how you do that. So I should have asked for a motion before we started this conversation. Do I have a motion on the floor? I have a motion by Commissioner Mason, a second by Commissioner Martin. I think the staff, do we have a presentation that we want? I think ultimately what we'd like to hear, and I think what the public likes to hear, is as many third-party objective folks to confirm what we're hearing, what we're being told.
Mr. Mayor, we prepared a brief presentation, but Derek hit on every point almost scarily. The old saying about great minds think alike. Well, Derek, I don't have a great mind, so I feel sorry for you. But he did touch on all the important parts. The commission action we have in writing is either authorize the mayor to transmit a letter of financial support for the Newberry Charter School or to deny the request. The rest of the information is in the backup that was provided to the commission, and we're certainly available for questions if the commission has any. I would say, to the mayor's point about the budget, that our community and our commission has asked for my entire tenure here we want you to have the budget to provide the level of service and provide a great level of service, but we need it to be lean, Mike. We think the government can operate that way. And I would tell you that seeing this budget come together, it is lean and it will feel tight. But it is definitely doable. As much as I understand school operations, and the people on the team that are putting this budget together really understand school operations, and they indicate to us that no one's going to be lacking. There's not excesses of 20% there. This will be a lean budget like we're all used to, and staff certainly believes that the budget is doable as being contemplated and will be submitted in the application. So, Mr. Mayor, I won't go through the rest of that presentation. I'll leave the funny image associated with questions for another presentation. You can sit on pins and needles waiting for that to show up in some future presentation and leave the recommended actions or the action options on the screen for you guys. I'm available for questions if you have any.
I appreciate it so much. I think we also have Caroline, who's been the project manager, and the law firm who has really been the architect. If you have any questions for them, I think these guys are the best in the business, and I think our teachers and our kids deserve the best in the business because without the full team here, we wouldn't be sitting at an opportunity to do what Commissioner Mazon said, something visionary for our kids. So I really don't know. I mean, at this point, it seems like everybody can come together now and say, this is a good thing. You know, this is a really positive thing for our community. It's positive for our students. It's positive for our teachers. I think everybody wants our teachers to make more money. And we have the opportunity to do that right now. So if there are any more, you guys have any questions for these guys? No? Okay, so I am going to remind everybody that we do like to do things with decorum. And when you come up to the podium, if you would, please introduce yourself. We'd love to know if you live in the city of Newberry, if you have kids that are involved in this. Please make your questions and comments directed towards me, not towards any one particular commissioner. We're going to do the same thing. They're going to talk to me, and I'll be the conduit. And I just remind you that this is public comment. It's not a Q&A. So if you want to ask questions, we can write down those questions. We'll do our best, but it's not a dialogue back and forth. But we certainly welcome everyone's questions, comments, thoughts, feelings as we move forward in this moment of our history. So with that, anyone? It's always a little nerve-wracking to be the first. Always come on down, Ms. Brandy. I hope you like what you heard.
I'm Brandy Oldman. I just
Hang
want to
on
say,
one second. Yeah. Go ahead.
I fully support this charter school. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. Just one little thing. Read the financial commitment to Newberry Community School Initiative. Mr. Dane, to him. Newberry Community School Board, Inc. is aware of the letter dated November 18th, 2024, addressed to members of Newberry Community School Board, which expressed its city's financial support in the amount of $2.2 million for the establishment of the Newberry Community School. On behalf of Newberry Community School Board, Inc., I would like to formally request that Newberry Community School, Inc. stop using the name Newberry Community School Board, Inc., as you do not have the rights to this name. Please ensure that if all future communications agreements with the city use the correct name and proofread your work. The correct name of your unit, which is Newberry Community School, Inc. As the treasurer of Newberry Community School Board, I'd just like to submit this to your lawyer for proofreading. But that was nerve-wracking, so I also like to say, I was looking over this thing and it was like repayment starts in 2030 or something. I believe the school board of Alachua County was going to build a new elementary around that year. So, like, we're not making more room at the school, and I hate talking about this. Y'all don't even listen. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it. Other public comment? Come on down, sir.
Hi, my name is Travis Dare. I'm going to do some reading for you. Here's the story we were told at the beginning of this. A group of concerned parents came up with a plan to convert our public schools that were failing their kids and turn them into a charter school that the community would have a direct say in how they were run, including curriculum, budget, and discipline. They then brought in the mayor and Joel, a pedophile, and the city commission to agree to help out with some administrative tasks, and it wouldn't cost taxpayers any money. The schools would be run by local community members from Archer, Newberry, and a representative selected by teachers of schools. Turns out you lied about every single aspect of that plan. There was no group of parents. We know from your own planning documents that never once have you disputed the accuracy of, that the entire thing was concocted by you and Joel Zierbe. And part of your plan was to recruit parents. They said they started the whole thing with recruiting parents and donors, sorry. No parents were looped in the commission. It was all you. This commission is spineless and merely takes orders from the mayor. Not once in this entire process have a single one of you offered a single amount of necessary criticism or real line of questioning about any of this plan. And to date, you have not offered any amount of pushback. So you are either not really caring and doing your due diligence, or you're doing exactly what a liar and a pedophile is telling you to do. This community has had absolutely zero say in anything.
Hang
I will
on.
not be stopping.
Hang
It's
on.
not a dialogue.
Hang on.
And this
Just
community
let
has
him-
been
just let
absolutely
him
zero
go.
say in
He's digging
anything
his own
since the
grave.
voting ended, which I feel is necessary to remind you, you lost, by the way. We were promised that there was going to be workshops and task forces to help with the application process. Not a single one of those has happened with community input. We were told the community would be putting together the application. And turns out, instead, some lawyers and third-party companies, none of which are based in Newberry, are the ones doing all of that work. The board of this charter school, which is a private entity, and no one has so provided an explanation as to why a government entity voted who on that board should be, has no Archer representation like we were told. The so-called teacher appointment was not appointed by teachers because not a single member
Thank
of
you, sir. We
any
appreciate your
schools
public
has said there
comment.
was anything.
We listened to it politely. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Other public comments? Come on down, sir.
Good evening. My name is Matt McLean. I'm a local business owner, and my kids have been in the school system for 12 years. The teachers go above and beyond for our kids. They have been here since the beginning, and they are shielded by this commission, and I appreciate what you're doing. Keep working hard for us, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir. Other public comment?
Good evening, gentlemen, Mr. Mayor. My name is Catherine Weitz. I live in High Springs, so I'm not a Newberry taxpayer, but I am a Newberry schools parent.
And
I've
band
had
mom.
3 kids in the school system in Continuum since 2006, and they have academically succeeded despite our school board. So I want to thank you all for being brave, being bold, and being innovative. You are all local elected officials. You care about these kids. You will respond to these parents. And if I had known what I know now when my children were young, I would not have left them to the Alachua County Public School System. You're setting the standard. I know there's a lot of risk, and there's going to be bumps in the road. Not everything's going to go right, but you're going to figure this out. And, you know, my caboose is getting ready to graduate Newberry High School in a year and a half. But I am so grateful to you all for taking a stance for kids. This is what needs to happen, because the school board in Alachua County, they never answer my emails. I've reached out to them a number of times, and they do not answer. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing what is best for the kids of Newberry. This is going to be a huge success ultimately. Thank you for taking the chance.
Thank you. Man, were you in line? Okay, all right. Just making sure. We try to do things orderly. Come on down, man.
Hi, Jessica Carey. I do have a kindergartner in Alachua County Public Schools. As an active parent and taxpayer here in Newberry, I voice my strong support for the conversion charter in our small community. I'm a big proponent for small government. You have better choices, better voices. This is initiative that richly started by parents is about giving our school a chance to rise above the persistent negligence of the County Board of Education and finally prioritize all the needs of all students, including those special needs. For too long, we have witnessed a lack of accountability and failure to provide the resources and leadership our children deserve. Not only our children, but also the teachers in our community. What the county has provided is excuses, failing infrastructure, and a focus on divisionary issues in our community versus the safety and education the 29,000 students and families that it serves. This conversion charter is not just a step towards independence, it's a giant leap and unique opportunity towards excellence. It was very well stated, Commissioner Mizon, because that's exactly how I feel. It allows us to create a tailored approach to education that not only reflects our unique and special needs of our community, not that of Gainesville. Let that speak. We're growing huge over the next 10 to 15 years. We want to have a say. This is about ensuring that every child has access to the quality education they need to thrive, including those with special needs. Our students, our families, and our educators deserve better. We deserve better. Supporting the conversion charter is a vote for progress, accountability, and a hope for a brighter future for our children in this growing community. I support the city's financial support for this loan, because it is a loan, basically a line of credit if we don't get the grants. A lot of these things and monies that they're not able to grant because of the state statutes with this application, and unless you've actually read all 700 pages, keep your comments to yourself.
Ms. Jessica Hobson.
Thank you.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Other public comment.
Hi, my name is Meredith Panaji. I live right behind Oakview Middle School. I moved here for the schools. I want to say thank you to the amazing teachers. All honesty, teachers never get paid what they deserve. What I don't agree with is you taking over the public school. Open up a separate charter school. I don't agree with the city funding it. In the beginning, my husband outright asked, if only the elementary school goes. That's the one in the deficit. Can you do it with your own funding? The group that ran it said yes.
And we can.
Their own funding, not the city's.
We can do it.
Then the city doesn't have to give them a loan. And if the city's giving them a loan, only half the teachers voted. Only parents of kids attending schools voted. If the city is giving the money, then the city should put it up to a vote to all the people in the city, because it's coming out of all of our pockets. Now, I am a parent. I loved every single teacher in the elementary school. I hated that my fifth graders in the middle school right now. But I've grown up in areas that boom just like this, and the same stuff happens, whether it's a small community or it's ran by the county. It's a crowd problem. It's a crowd problem that should have been fixed when you said yes to the houses. You knew the houses were coming. With houses come children. You said no to the new school in 2020, 2021. Yes, there is a video where you said Newberry can wait. Now you're taking over the school for the charter. What would help our population problem is a separate charter and the elementary school. So parents who want their kids in the charter school can go there. And the parents that don't agree have the public school, and they can still have Alachua County. If you want to fund it, then put it up to a vote to the city. Let everyone have a say. Very simple. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Other public comment. Come on down.
Wasn't really planning on speaking, just wanted to sit in. My name is Jamie Wilson. I'm actually a teacher of Alachua County. I work at the high school for ninth graders. So I fully support the charter. I thought it was a great idea. I've been here in this county for 6 years. I taught in Hillsborough County before that for 2 years. And I've been at elementary schools and now the high school for the last 2 years. So I've done first grade, kindergarten, now ninth grade. Every time, even in Hillsborough County, but in Alachua County, that they say they promise something, you don't see it. It's all these promises, oh, we'll make it better. And we go through data and we have meetings and they talk about making things better, smaller class sizes, improving discipline. What are we going to do to help the students? And there's nothing that ever backs the teacher. There's just empty promises. So I fully support the charter. I feel like it would be amazing to see someone in this town actually be able to make decisions here locally versus someone like the ACPS who's across town and they don't even know. I had someone from ACPS sit next to me at one of the meetings last year, the charter meeting. She had no idea who I was, but yet she claimed to know some people here. Anyway, that was just embarrassing on her part. Not going to name anybody. The pay, again, it's really sad. We can't keep up with the local economy, the raises and prices, the cost of living, and so like the 1.6, that's just. It's almost worth just keep your money. Again, discipline has become really hard when the classes are full. There's not a lot you can do that they're willing to do. So I feel like there's a lot we could do locally to make some changes. The city will have more to do with it. I also have 2 students that one goes to the high school, she's in 10th grade, and the other one goes to the middle school, 6th grade. So I'm just seeing it as a parent perspective and a teacher's perspective. I just keep getting promised the same empty promises. I don't see much change. So the current school board, I feel like just could be more invested. So I feel like if Newberry was involved, we could have more say and do what we need to do for our kids and for our teachers.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it. Come on down.
Good evening, commissioners, mayor. My name is Rosa Campbell. I've been a lifelong, well, I'm a native of Newberry. I am a native of Newberry. I'm very proud to be in Newberry. And yes, we all have differences. We all have opinions. And we all have a right. And I stand before you I've worked for the school board of Alachua County for 26.2 months, years. Yes, there are a lot of things that need to be changed. I had a son who went to charter school for a year in Gainesville, and it was wonderful. My point is tonight, commissioners and mayor, let's do what's right for the children. I give tirelessly my time for the past 4 years, and to see the community come out and to support my time organization would be so beneficial to see what the children are actually doing. If we're going to put something forward for the betterment of our kids, let's open it up wide and not just here. Let's be respectful. I am so disappointed in the things that I heard from everybody over the course of time. It breaks my heart to be a part of a community. I worked at Newberry Elementary. I worked at Newberry High School. I make pennies, but I did it for the kids. And it's better opportunities elsewhere. And my point is that I wrote a letter, and I would like to read this letter.
Ms. Rosa, can you submit that letter, because your time is almost up, and I just got to be fair to everybody.
Okay,
So
thank
but
you.
you can email that to everybody.
I will
We
email
appreciate
my
you
letter,
coming here
but
and
I
talking.
appreciate
Thank you.
what you all are striving to do. And as a taxpayer and as a local citizen here in Newberry, I hope what is going to happen will happen what is said.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
be fair. And stop all of the back and forth and bickering.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we're going to close public comment. I think the only thing I just want to respond to one thing, and it's and we heard this during the campaign, is people say, well, if you like a charter school, you should open one. I'm a public school teacher. One of my biggest critiques of charter schools is that only the parents who can pay extra, because a lot of charter schools want more money. We do not, right? Only the kids with parents who can navigate those waters, understand how to do that, they're the only ones that get the opportunity to engage in this. In this plan, we get to take every kid. We get to keep every kid. We get to teach every kid better. You don't have to be able to navigate the system. We're going to navigate the system for you, and we're going to take care of every single child in the city of Newberry and make sure they get the best without the parent having to have the wherewithal to go and figure out how to navigate, because parents, like teachers, are often working 2-3 jobs, right? I don't know any teacher that's not working 2 jobs. I teach multiple classes, I do this gig, and I farm, and I coach. I don't know any teachers that don't have second jobs, and that's not fair. That's not right. Every school year, I hear the Dog and Pony Show about teachers. We need you to take care of your mental health first. You can't take care of the kids' mental health if you're not taking care of your mental health. And then I'm asked to teach. I've got classes of 36 kids. 36 kids, and it used to be 15. Last year I taught 8 different subjects in 6 class periods. I taught 2 class periods. I'm teaching 2 different things at the same time. And I'm not an anomaly, right? Every teacher in here is doing multiple things. I saw Miss Rosa do all kind of things to help the kids, right? I've seen Miss Jamie do, Miss Wilson do all kind of things, right? So I just wanted to address that, because I think that is a fundamental what we're doing here is to protect and educate every single kid in our community. So with that, any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. We appreciate your time. It's going to move us to comments. Anybody have anything else to say? Mr. Manager? I'm sorry, citizen comments. Anybody have anything else? Come on down. Naeem?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, city staff. My name is Naeem Arched, citizen of Newberry, and your P&Z member. your chair of the opioid task force, so on and so on. But today I come to you as a coach, and I was approached today by our rec department asking for some help. So I figured since I got a lot of people's attention right now, we're all supporting our football team, and I wish our boys go kick some butt this week, all right? So they could definitely use some financial support. But I want to also address another issue of our softball team in high school right now can really use some new equipment. So I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of people to help Miss Roundtree out, Coach Roundtree, taking care of our girls in high school softball. They need nets, the field's in shambles. They can really use our help. Obviously, as we can see, the school board could care less about this side of town. So it's up to us, and I've seen what we can do. You guys have sponsored our 6U girls, going to championships, bringing home state district titles, going to state championship games. You guys supported our 8U girls, our 10U girls, our 12U girls. These are our high school girls. These are the girls that are going to make it to collegiate levels. I think it's time that we step up and make sure that we give them a good field to play on, show them our support. So if I can, Mr. Mayor, I can email you these sponsorship forms. If you can pass them out to business owners, it would be greatly appreciated to help our girls out. So I'm not going to bother you about anything else. I just really I believe in the sports of Newberry. We do phenomenal football, basketball, baseball, and soccer, lacrosse, tennis, golf. Can't forget the golf.
Yeah, don't forget the golf.
But right now, as I said, I was approached by by the rec department to help out, so I'm reaching out to all our citizens to help out.
What's the goal?
She didn't give me a goal. She gave me a sponsorship sheet, which is, I mean, she's to me personally, she's lowballing because platinum is only $700. Platinum for me was $1,000. She's asking for $700 for platinums, $500 for golds, and $250 for silver. But any amount to Ms. Roundtree, I'm pretty confident Coach Roundtree will be greatly appreciated. So I want to make sure, since we got a pretty significant audience here tonight, if you can, any donation would be great. And then if you're a big supporter of our football team like we are, we're hoping to raise some funds to live stream it this week too. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for what you do. And just one last smart comment. In the United States, I'm pretty confident that you couldn't buy a business, buy a house, do anything if they ask you to come up with all the money up front. So asking for a loan or a HELOC or something like that, I don't think it's very far-fetched and really crazy idea. Because I have a loan on my 30-year mortgage. I'm pretty sure most of you guys do. So, yeah, when I heard that, I don't think it's too crazy to ask for a loan. And it's not even really a loan. It's more of a backstop. So, yeah. So, sorry. Thank you.
Nope, we appreciate that. And I love to hear that there's no favoritism at Newberry High School. Even the athletic director's wife has to go to the community and do it just like everybody else, right? Other public comment? Come on down.
Since we're here, I just want to piggyback on Brandy Oldman. 3 kids at the elementary school, 3 kids that play soccer. So we played this time of the year. There's no lights on our fields at Easton. I don't know if y'all control that or who does, but there needs to be some more funding there. You could test, I'm here. I got to deal with y'all guys. So we need some support there too, not just for baseball, football, not just the school programs. We need it at Easton too. We need stuff for the kids to do here. There's nothing. I have to take my kids to a different town to do anything. So when I see this kind of money being spent on stuff, it's just like, well, could we get a splash pad, please? It's just a lot of money. And to Naeem's comment, or Naeem. Sorry. Actually, you can buy a house outright with cash. You can buy your cars outright with cash. I've done it. Some of y'all have too. But you can do that. The loan thing, I think, is a little bit of an overstep, but you're never going to do what you're going to do anyway. And I'm trying not to be the troublemaker here because I do still have 3 kids in the elementary school. We got preschool, 3rd, and 4th. So with that preschooler, I've got a bunch of years to deal right here. So I just want to make it known that I don't agree, but I do support our teachers, and I wish we could have kept about 20 of them that left. I really do. And I do think they need more money. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Other public comment? Seeing none, we are. Oh, I'm sorry. Throw me all off here. Okay, we can do that. All right, Mr. Manager.
I thought you just didn't want me to say anything. Congratulations to the board. We are 9 months, 10 months into an initiative that I don't think anybody in local government really contemplates. And you know, it all starts with the board having some vision, a lot of vision, and exhibiting leadership. This path that we've gone down, while I haven't developed any real expertise, the team that we've, to the mayor's point, the team that we've associated and contracted with to help advise us and help us put these things together is the best in the state of Florida. I will guarantee you that. When you pair them up with the best chief financial officer in the state of Florida, then I think you can come up with a financial plan that will work. We've exhibited that, so this isn't the last step in the process. There will be a last step in the process that will be hurrah. I'll also mention that something that it settled in on me today is that as this got started, the commission talked about certain off-ramps, and that, you know, that we want to learn more. We think we want to do this, but there are off-ramps where it may not work out. And I'd say today was one of those opportunities, and I believe that there was genuine interest from our elected officials that if this wasn't going to work, they would take an off-ramp. There's no sense in just proceeding forward with something that can't work. I believe there will be one or two more off-ramps coming, so it's not a done deal. But I appreciate that the commission has taken such a measured approach to exploring this, and when it looks promising to continue to step forward, I consider that visionary. And I know that a lot of people are saying, well, he's sucking up to his bosses right now, which is true, but I do think that you guys have taken a bold position, and I admire that. Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to mention that we are accepting applications for planning and zoning board memberships. You can find out more about it either by contacting City Hall, the planning department, checking our website. There's an application process. There are 3 seats up, and when we bring the applications in, we'll consider them all, present them to the City Commission for appointment. Would probably be in the next 6 to 8 weeks when that happens.
The applications, the appointments that are in April.
Yes, exactly. Sorry about that, Mr. Mayor. And finally, timing. It's always one of those things. We have executed a contract to put lights on at least one of the soccer fields at Easton. It's really expensive to do it, and in our 5 and 10-year CIP, the commission has spaced them out. But the first one is underway. I understood the contractor, you know, got into an irrigation line or something today, so I heard reports of their on-site working, but we are shortly going to have at least one of our soccer fields lit, and in the 3 to 4 year period, we'll have all of them lit. So just an announcement to the community, and also, you know, that starts with the commission saying you guys need to get something that's affordable. We can't solve all of Newberry's issues and wants in one budget year, but we can do it over time if we'll just space it out, and that's what we're doing with our budget each year. So appreciate you for that, and that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, just real briefly, it's nice to work with Sean Arnold and his team. And as he said before the meeting, it's been about 30 years since we've seen each other. And he hadn't changed a bit, but I got a little grayer. But your group, your group's great to work with.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk? Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Coleman?
All right, maybe with the soccer situation, I don't know if we're allowed to, but there's lighted baseball fields out there, a pile of them during the week. I don't know if we're allowed to go out there off 30th. What's the name of that?
Champions.
Champions.
There it is.
I was like, man, I can't think of it.
First thing is, Dallas Lee, you've done a great job, man, with this.
Amen.
You kind of took, with the lost individual that I don't like calling that name that y'all did. I mean, that man's gonna have to face the good Lord Jesus Christ one day. And you know what? He hadn't been convicted yet, so I'm not gonna place judgment. But in that, Dallas Lee, with this, I'm impressed. You could go to work at any bank right now. Not trying to tell, but this
Don't put any ideas in his head.
I know.
Yeah.
But going through this, you've done above board, pretty much being dumped in your lap, all this, done a great job. Last thing is, I heard one of the citizens say that, the vote didn't pass or this didn't pass and all that. And I'm gonna go ahead and let them know, whoever that was, and you know who you were. If all of Newberry would have voted, it would have been just like our presidential race right now. So I'm gonna tell you, I didn't get to vote. My kids have graduated from Newberry. I got a pile of them up here, and I see some in the audience that's had kids go through the system of Newberry. So you better watch what you say when you say that, because I can tell you, a lot of us were not allowed to vote. With that, y'all have a great week, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Clark?
Nothing.
Commissioner Farnsworth?
Took his time.
I will say, back in 1974, when I graduated from Newberry High School, it was excellent back then, so
Yeah.
things have definitely changed over the
Boy, and
years.
you're a pillar of educational excellence. Absolutely. Commissioner Martin?
I said what I wanted to say.
I appreciate it. Commissioner Mazon?
Yeah. First, thank you guys. We always say that if you guys don't show up, the community doesn't care, regardless. For those that oppose it, for those that are for it, thank you for coming out. Thank you for expressing your thoughts and your concerns. Very well. The concerned citizens hosted a Thanksgiving over at MLK, which was very well. We look forward to having more people show up, come out and eat downtown. I'll let you have that. They had their festival, which I heard was well. Outside of that, everybody's waiting on my joke. Yeah, you are. Let's break some tension here. What do you call a man with no shins? With no shins. Tony. Tony.
Yeah, y'all are encouraging him. Now he's going to keep doing it. Yeah. He's our dad joke expert every time. He's our expert. While I'm thinking about it, CLF Church is also inviting everybody to the Thanksgiving in the Park. It's November 24th at 11 a.m. They'll have boxed turkeys and lunch to go. They'll have food there. And the whole town is invited. I've gone many times. It's always great. I want to say thank you guys for coming out tonight as well. I know it's a school night. I know it's a work night. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate the school board and all the work that you guys have done, keeping your head down and just doing the work and not getting involved. One of the things that we are trying to do is take the politics out of education, and you guys have not engaged. You've just done the work, and I appreciate that tact so much. I'm sorry, Commissioner Goldman.
Well, do we have a date for the Newberry Road Initiative coming up?
Do we have Mike left? Yes. I see Stacy saying yes. So at the next meeting, next Monday night, unless you know it right now.
We're planning for a workshop in the beginning of December after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Okay. And then I want to say thank you to Main Street. I know we've got some members here. The president's right there. We've got members in the audience. I saw y'all volunteering. Thank y'all for, it was a beautiful day. It was a great festival. We were out there. Yes, absolutely. And it's those kind of community volunteers stepping up and doing that kind of stuff to bring folks downtown. That's how we keep our community is with volunteer groups. I see some members of Newberry High School back there. They volunteer. They put up the chairs and the trash cans and all that kind of stuff. And I heard both at the Newberry Rodeo and at the festival, the announcers just raving about our kids and what wonderful volunteers they are. And they deserve all of that. So I appreciate everybody coming tonight. Thank you for your engagement. I agree with you, Commissioner Coleman. I wish the whole town could have voted because I think it would have been a landslide. Everybody I talked to is so in support of what these parents started, of what your vision is helping them support. And so thank you all. And with that, we are